Hiya, I'm going to talk to you about menstruation today, and I'm going to take you through a few rituals that you can do to honor this phase of your cycle. Menstruation. It is a very powerful, very sacred time for women. It is when we feel our most intuitive. It's such a good time to really tap into your intuition. It's when our dreams become a lot more vivid. So you really want to pay attention to your dreams when you are menstruating. And really, what is happening with our energy around this time is our physical energy is waning, which means that our spiritual energy is growing. So, hence why it is such a good time to just withdraw from the outside busy world and to really go inwards, to spend some time with yourself, do some reflecting. It's good to just to go into introspection, do some meditating, take it easy, be gentle on yourself during this time, and really honor this time in your cycle. Um, Something that I also like to do is to really pay attention to the phases of the moon to see what phase the moon is in during the time of bleeding. So, if let's say you're bleeding at a full moon, yeah, so this is when the moon has gone full, but now it's going to start waning. I would say that you're being called to release something, to let go of something. So at the moment, I'm menstruating and I started on exactly the full moon, exactly when the moon went full. Um, so I know that I was being called to let go, to release something. And usually that will be revealed to me either through meditation or simply through whatever is going on around me at the time. Um, so if you're bleeding during a full moon phase, the waning moon phase, you're called to let go of something. Yeah. So great time to do releasing work. If you bleed under a new moon, um, when the moon is going to start going into a waxing phase, then this is a time to look at what ideas and inspiration you are receiving because you're being called to express those. Okay. It often changes for me. Like sometimes I will bleed at the full moon, sometimes I will bleed at the new moon. So I always just try to sort of pay attention to that and see whatever it is I'm being called to do. Okay. Um, so the first couple of days when you start bleeding, this is when your blood is going to be fresh and it's going to be a lovely bright red color. Yeah, so this is around the time where I would normally do any kind of spell work or any rituals where I'm going to, use my menstrual blood. So, firstly, what you can do is anointing. Now, the way I would do this is obviously you want to be able to collect the blood first. So, the best way to do that is to use a menstrual cup. Yeah, this one is called a moon cup. So, this is the one that I use, and they are a little bit tricky to use at first. They do take some getting used to, but I have found this to be the easiest way to collect your blood, and plus it just does away with the need for tampons and sanitary towels, which is really good for the environment. So this is a brilliant investment. Yeah. So collect some blood and anoint. You can anoint your chakra points. So I would do the third eye. So anoint, take a little bit of blood and anoint your third eye. and just say something like, I perceive with clarity through my third eye or through my witch eye. Then you can anoint your throat chakra and say, I express my truth. I align my personal will with the will of the divine. Anoint your heart chakra and say, I practice self-compassion and self-love. I nurture myself. Yeah, so that's just an idea of how you can anoint yourself and say some positive affirmations alongside with that. Okay, so another thing you can do is collect some of your blood in a vial like this. You can just buy these online on like eBay or Amazon and store it in the fridge. So this is handy for future spell work, any future rituals you want to do, then you've already got some of your blood stored away. And what you can do is use it in your practice of magic. So you can anoint candles with it, you can create sigils with it. You can even dry out the blood. So if you like to use herbs and things and you like to grind them in a pestle and mortar, you can also do that with your blood. So normally it dries out after a few weeks if it's stored in a sealed container, but also it can dry out, I think, a lot quicker if it is exposed to the air. And I think what you can do is actually smear some on the side of the container when you put it in the fridge, and you can create some blood flakes with it, and then you can mix the blood flakes in with something else, you know, like dried rose petals or dried lavender flower. Or you can just take the blood flakes, put them into a pestle and mortar and grind them down into a fine powder and use them that way in your spell work. Another thing actually you could do with anointing as well is, let's say you just do a simple ritual of creating a manifestation list. Yeah, you're doing some manifesting work. You can just anoint the corners of the list that you've got as well. So that's just a nice simple way to use it, because I do think this is quite powerful actually for manifestation work, because I mean it's blood that comes literally from your womb space, you know, where we create. It's you know, it's the gateway, isn't it? It's the gateway through which things come into the physical plane. So I feel that this could be a very powerful thing to do for manifestation work, and also for any type of releasing work. Yeah, so a very simple thing I do for releasing rituals is just to take the blood and so collect it in the moon cup, and I pour it into a container and just take it outside under a full moon and just pour it straight onto the earth. So you're kind of giving it back to Mother Nature. You can state an intention of whatever it is you want to release. Yeah. You can also just wear like a rag or something for a couple of hours, just bleed directly into the rag, and then take the rag, run it under some water into a container, so you're collecting it, and then you get like a nice amount of watery blood, and then, you know, blood water basically, and then you can just take that outside and water the plants with it, water, you know, water the grass if you've got grass in the garden. So that's a nice way to sort of give back to Mother Earth as well. What else can you do? So you can take a nice hot bath and bleed into the bath water, depending on how heavy your blood flow is. If you're somebody who gets quite heavy periods, then you might even notice patterns or like feathery streams forming in the bath water. And you can use your intuition to see if something is kind of, being revealed to you that way. And you can just honor this time, really. So a couple of simple things, simple ways to really honor your menstruation phase is just to allow yourself to bleed freely. So you can do this overnight. So rather than wearing a pad, a tampon or whatever, just wear nothing and just lay on a towel in bed overnight and just allow yourself to bleed freely onto the towel. Yeah. Actually, a long time ago, women used to do red tenting. So they used to, when they were bleeding, they would just gather in tents and bleed directly onto the earth. And I think you can still do that now. You could just wear a skirt or a dress, go outside somewhere, sit under a tree, and just allow yourself to bleed directly into Mother Earth. I think that is such a beautiful way to honor your menstruation cycle. I think that's beautiful. And you can honor that. You can also honor this time to you can honor this time by just wearing red, yeah, or wearing a piece of jewelry. Like I used to wear a raw piece of carnelian crystal in a necklace around my neck. I also found that that kept me quite grounded during time that I'm bleeding as well. So yeah, so you can honor it that way. And also you can use it as ink. Yeah, so another way to tap into your intuition is to use your blood as an ink and do automatic drawing. Yeah, so if you're quite artistic, you can just paint something beautiful, do a yoni drawing, something like that. And you can also use it for divination work. So if you're familiar with doing readings with tea leaves or coffee granules, in the same way you can do that with your blood. So collect some blood in a chalice or a regular teacup and swirl it a few times, and then just invert the cup onto a saucer, let the blood flow down onto the saucer, and then using your intuition, see what patterns have formed and try to make the connections, yeah, to see what may be being revealed to you around that time. Okay, so I hope you find this helpful and magical, and enjoy your period. I personally find it such a sacred, intuitive time. So you really have to sort of let go of any kind of limited thinking you have around your period, as it's not a yucky, horrible time. It is a beautiful and magical time, and just really honor that time. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.